Your sister, a family member, plotted this. God says this is being delivered to you in a moment of divine timing, a moment crafted with absolute precision, a moment that carries weight far heavier than you realize. God says He has watched you struggle, watched you carry confusion in silence, watched you try to hold your spirit steady while things around you felt strangely off. And today, God says He cannot allow you to walk forward without the truth. This message is for you only. And Archangel Michael steps forward with urgency, saying clearly, don't ignore this. This is serious. This is your moment of awareness, protection, and awakening. Archangel Michael says he has been watching someone very close to you. Someone you trust, someone you consider family. Someone who should have protected you but instead chose something darker. God says your sister and a family member joined hands in a plan that was never meant to touch you, but they pushed it toward you anyway. God says this was not an accident and it was not a misunderstanding. He says it was intentional and heaven is revealing it now because the time for hidden things to rise has come. God says what was whispered behind your back has reached heaven's ears and all of heaven is responding for you. Archangel Michael says he tried to warn you before. He placed small signals, uneasy feelings, strange moments when you felt something was not right. He says those moments were not random. Those were divine alerts, but you brushed them away because your heart is pure and you don't like believing that someone you love could hold such intentions. Michael says your kindness blinded you to the danger forming around you. That is why he steps forward with full force now, saying this message is not optional. You must hear this. You must know what was planned. God says your sister and another family member created a story about you that was meant to harm your reputation and your peace. God says they spoke things that were not true. They planned something behind closed doors, something they thought you would never find out. They assumed heaven was silent. But heaven was watching everything. God says every lie they told was written in the open before Him. Every whisper was recorded in the book of truth. And now God says their actions cannot remain hidden anymore. You have been wondering why certain situations felt strangely heavy. Why people acted differently around you. Why your spirit felt a sudden pressure you couldn't explain. God says this is why the spiritual disturbance you felt was the impact of their intentions, their envy, their fear, and their hidden conversations. They wanted to pull something away from you, something that belonged to you, something God Himself placed in your destiny. But God says nobody can take what He has ordained. Archangel Michael says the plan was deeper than you thought. It wasn't just words. They tried to influence something important in your life. They tried to shift the way others see you. They tried to block an opportunity you were meant to receive. They tried to distort your image so they could benefit from the result. But heaven blocked everything. Michael says every attempt they made bounced back because God placed His shield around you the moment the plan began. God says you are safe. He repeats it over and over. You are safe. Nothing will go wrong with you. Nothing they tried will reach your life. Nothing they plotted will stick to your destiny. God says He stands between you and every weapon formed against you. He says you don't have to fear because He already dismantled their efforts spiritually before they could reach you physically. But God also says you need to know the truth so you can walk with awareness, not blindness. You need to understand the real reason you felt drained, confused, or overwhelmed recently. God says this is spiritual clarity. This is divine revelation. This is protection disguised as exposure. Archangel Michael says he has been fighting for you non-stop. He says he stood in front of you like a wall of light, absorbing blows that were meant for your spirit. He says you do not know how many times he defended you without you even realizing you were in danger. And now he says you must finally hear him. He says do not ignore this message. This is serious. This is your warning, your awakening, your moment of truth. God says your heart is too pure. And people sometimes assume purity is weakness. But heaven says your purity is your greatest spiritual weapon. It exposes darkness without you lifting a finger. It brings divine justice without you needing to retaliate. God says the reason He is revealing this to you today is because you have reached a turning point in your journey. You are stepping into a season where blessings will come at a speed that surprises even you. And God says before you enter this season, He wants all spiritual enemies revealed, no matter how close they are. Your sister and the other family member operated from jealousy. God says it wasn't about hatred. It was about fear. Fear of your elevation. Fear of your blessings, fear of the favor you carry. Fear because they saw something in you. They do not have something divine, something powerful, something chosen. And instead of celebrating you, they felt threatened by you. God says that is why their hearts became a breeding ground for envy. But their envy cannot touch your destiny. God says He is cleaning your path. He is removing people who pretend to support you but secretly wish for your downfall. He is exposing conversations you were never supposed to hear. Not to scare you, but to prepare you, not to make you doubt yourself, but to make you trust Him deeper. God says trust Him now more than ever because the truth He is revealing is the beginning of your rise. Archangel Michael says, there is a reason you have been feeling spiritually sensitive lately. A reason you sense things before they happen. A reason you feel sudden heaviness when certain people are near. A reason you feel drained after speaking to specific family members. Your spirit is detecting their intentions even when your mind tries to overlook it. Michael says your gift of discernment is awakening. You are stepping into spiritual clarity that will allow you to see truth before it harms you. God says you are chosen. And being chosen means both light and darkness recognize your destiny. Darkness tries to block what it fears. But God says everything darkness tried to do has failed. Every plan against you collapsed. Every attempt to confuse you lost its power. Every effort to trap you spiritually has been exposed. God says the next chapter of your life will not be written by the lies of others but by His truth alone. He says your blessings will speak louder than their words. Your success will silence every doubt spoken against you. Your elevation will prove every whisper wrong. God says He is lifting you where they cannot follow. Archangel Michael says he has something important for you. Strength. He says He is placing spiritual strength on your shoulders so that no betrayal can break you again. He says He is guarding your spirit, your home, your path and your destiny. He says he will not let anyone block what God has assigned to you. God says he is bringing justice. Divine justice, quiet justice, justice that does not need you to fight or speak. Justice that moves silently but powerfully. God says karma is not your concern. Heaven handles what humans cannot. And the consequences they will feel are not punishments. They are lessons. God says he wants your heart to stay soft. He wants you to keep your faith strong. He wants you to continue trusting him completely because he is clearing the people who cannot walk with you into your divine future. He says, not everyone who started with you is meant to finish with you. Some people must be removed before your blessings arrive, or they would poison what God tries to give you. You have been strong, stronger than people realize, stronger than even you understand. But God says the season of carrying silent burdens is ending. The season of hiding your pain behind strength is ending. God says he is removing the weight from your shoulders and placing peace in its place. Archangel Michael says you are protected with a shield stronger than anything in the physical realm. He says no curse, no gossip, no hidden plot, no spiritual attack can break that shield. Michael says your name has been carved into the book of divine protection. He says your destiny is untouchable. God says he is surrounding you with angels. Angels that will walk with you, guide you, whisper to your intuition, and help you see truth instantly. He says, you will no longer doubt your feelings. You will no longer overlook the signals. You will no longer ignore the warnings. God says your spiritual vision is opening. This message comes with urgency because the shift is happening now. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. God says this is the moment he steps between you and every hidden enemy. This is the moment he removes masks. This is the moment he reveals motives. This is the moment he brings light into the shadows around you. God says you do not need to confront anyone, you do not need to argue. You do not need to defend yourself. You only need to trust him. He says he will handle everything. He says he will restore what was blocked. He says he will return what was taken. He says he will line your path with blessings no one can interfere with. You are entering a season where God himself becomes your voice, your shield, your protector, your guide. A season where Archangel Michael stands at your door, ensuring nothing harmful enters your life. A season where the truth becomes clear, the path becomes open, and your heart becomes free. God says you are safe. God says nothing will go wrong with you. God says he is with you every second. God says trust him. God says pray and keep your faith strong. God says your blessing is coming faster than anything planned against you. This message is serious, but it is also filled with hope, victory, and divine power. Because God says you are protected, chosen, watched over, and destined for something far greater than what anyone tried to stop. God says that what is being revealed to you right now is not a small thing. And Archangel Michael stands near you as this message unfolds in front of your spirit. He says, this message is for you. He orders you not to ignore it because it carries a weight that is far heavier than what you have experienced before. He says this is very serious, and even though your heart feels tired, even though you have been pushed, Tested and betrayed more than anyone knows, God is lifting the veil today. God is standing beside you with authority and love. And He says that you are safe, you are protected, and nothing will go wrong with you because you belong to Him. You have to trust Him and pray to Him because He is leading you into truth, into justice, and into a breakthrough that has been delayed for far too long. God says that He has seen everything. Every conversation whispered behind your back, every plan that was designed to discourage you, every attempt to push you out of your destiny. And now God says He will show you what your spirit already sensed, but your heart didn't want to believe. Someone extremely close to you. Your own sister and another family member plotted something against you. This was not a small misunderstanding. This was something that could have changed your life in a painful direction. But God intervened. God blocked it. God stood between you and the danger you never saw. Archangel Michael says he was forced to step in because the situation was urgent. He says you were spiritually attacked, not once, not twice, but multiple times, and He shielded you every single time. He says He fought battles that you didn't know existed. He says He stopped things that were heading toward you with full speed because your sister and a family member allowed jealousy, resentment, and hidden bitterness to enter their hearts. God says He watched everything. He watched how they used your innocence against you. How they tried to manipulate situations so that you would be blamed. How they tried to push you into fear, confusion, or isolation. But God says He did not allow their words to stand as truth over your life. God says He knows how deeply you love your family. How you never wanted to believe that such intention could come from someone so close. He knows that even when people hurt you, your heart tries to forgive quickly, tries to find excuses for their actions, tries to hope that maybe they didn't mean it. But God says, this time the truth must be revealed so that you can be free, not so that you hate them. Not so that you carry bitterness, but so that you finally understand why your spirit has been restless in the past months. Why your heart felt heavy at night. Why certain situations felt strange even when you tried to ignore the feeling. God says He placed a divine alarm inside your spirit. And Archangel Michael says you ignored it many times because you didn't want to believe anything negative about them. But today, heaven is speaking loudly because what was hidden in darkness cannot stay hidden any longer. God says He is the God of truth, and truth always brings freedom. He says you need to hear this message not to be afraid, not to panic, but to understand how divinely protected you are. Archangel Michael says that your sister and this family member acted out of jealousy and you didn't even realize how much your blessings disturbed them. God says the same light that He placed in you, the same grace, the same protection, the same favor triggered something inside them. They felt that you were rising spiritually and emotionally. And instead of celebrating you, they allowed envy to twist their intentions. They felt you were becoming stronger, more focused, more blessed. And instead of supporting you, they wanted to slow you down. They wanted you to doubt yourself. They wanted you to feel small. They wanted you to remain dependent, silent, or insecure. God says He watched how they tried to paint you in a negative light in front of others. How they tried to twist your words, how they tried to drag your name into something you had nothing to do with. But God says none of it worked. None of their plans succeeded. Not one arrow they threw at you hit you because He blocked every single attack. God says the reason you felt tired recently, the reason you felt spiritually drained or confused is because you were sensing a spiritual battle happening around you. You felt the pressure without knowing its source. You felt someone emotionally pulling away from you. You felt someone's energy changing, you felt someone watching you, but not in love, not in care, watching you with calculation. God says you were not imagining it. You were spiritually discerning it. And now heaven confirms it. But God says you are safe. Nothing will go wrong with you. You are under divine protection. You are surrounded by angels. And Archangel Michael says he has been standing guard over your home, over your sleep, over your journey, over your heart, over your future. God says this message is not meant to break you but to strengthen you. There is a reason He is revealing this now. Because a new blessing is coming your way. And before He hands it to you, He wants certain people to be exposed. Not to shame them, but to protect you. God says your next blessing is big and He does not want jealous hands near it. He does not want anyone with wrong intention to be connected to your breakthrough. Archangel Michael says there is a divine separation happening. You may start noticing distance, coldness, silence, or sudden change in someone's behavior. Don't panic. Don't chase. Don't question yourself. Heaven is removing people who cannot accompany you to where God is sending you. God says your heart has been too loyal, too forgiving, too soft, too gentle, and He loves that about you. But He also says He will not allow that softness to be used against you anymore. He says He is surrounding you with clarity, intuition, strength, and divine confidence. God says He knows what they whispered about you. He knows what they tried to block. He knows how they smiled in front of you but spoke differently behind you. He knows how they tried to make you look like the problem when you were the one protecting the family, the one supporting them, the one praying for them. God says He has recorded everything. Nothing escaped His eyes. But even with all of that, He says you have been chosen, blessed, and protected in a way they cannot understand. God says the reason you are so protected is because your heart is clean. You never wished them harm, you never returned negativity. You never fought back with evil. And because of your purity, heaven fights for you. Archangel Michael says this is why he stepped in, because your soul is too pure to be attacked without divine intervention. He says your spirit carries a light many people don't understand. And that light is what makes you powerful. God says He is releasing you from fear. He is releasing you from confusion. He is releasing you from hidden attacks. He is releasing you from invisible burdens that others tried to put on you. He is releasing you from emotional manipulation, from guilt placed on you unfairly, from responsibility that was never yours to carry. God says a shift is happening in your life. Snorts, you are entering a season where truth will be revealed without you asking. People will expose themselves. Their actions will become clear. Their intentions will show. And while it may hurt at first, God says it is necessary for your spiritual protection. He says once you see the truth, you will no longer doubt yourself. You will no longer question your feelings. You will no longer shrink yourself. You will no longer feel guilty for choosing peace. God says your heart is safe now. Your spirit is protected now. Your destiny is secure now, and no plot crafted against you can succeed. Not from family, not from strangers, not from anyone. Archangel Michael says he will remain beside you. He says he will continue guiding your intuition, warning your spirit, and giving you signs. He says he will show you exactly who is with you and who is secretly against you. He says he will lead you into truth with love and strength. God says he is taking you into a higher level spiritually. A level where peace is natural. A level where blessings come without interruption. A level where your heart feels lighter. A level where you finally understand why the battle was so intense. Because the blessing that is coming is bigger than anything you have ever experienced. God says trust Him. Pray to Him, stay close to Him. Nothing will go wrong with you. Nothing will harm you. Nothing will destroy you. You are chosen. You are protected. You are guided. God says He is bringing justice, peace, clarity, and healing into your life. And no plot, whether from your sister, a family member, or anyone else, can stop what He is preparing for you. God says you are safe now, and the truth has finally been spoken. God says this to you in a voice that moves through the unseen places of your heart. A voice that has been waiting for the exact moment when you would be ready to hear it fully. And Archangel Michael stands beside this message with the weight of divine urgency. He says this is not something for you to scroll past or take lightly, because the spiritual realm has watched something unfold around you for a long time. And today the truth must reach you clearly, gently, and powerfully. God says there is a reason your spirit has been feeling restless. A reason you've been sensing that something wasn't right, that someone close to you carried an energy that didn't match the love you gave them. God says the truth is surfacing. And He is the one revealing it. Not to scare you, not to break your heart, but to finally set you free from confusion, emotional burdens, and silent spiritual battles that were never yours to fight. Archangel Michael steps forward with a seriousness that is rare. A tone he uses only when heaven itself needs your attention. He says you are being protected right now. Even in the very moment you read this, protected from plans, words, intentions, and energy that were not meant for your destruction to begin with, but were meant to be exposed so that you could rise higher. Michael says the situation involves your sister and one more family member, someone you trusted. Someone you loved without questioning their heart. Someone you believed would never direct harm toward you, not even in thought. God is not showing you this to create fear or hatred, but to show you the reality of why He needed to lift you, separate you, and guard your heart so fiercely. God says you must understand something important. Nothing they planned could ever manifest because His hand was already blocking every spiritual doorway they tried to open. Their intentions formed, their conversations happened, but none of it could take root because God Himself stood between you and every negative energy that was sent your way. You may have felt tired recently, drained for no reason. Sensing heaviness that didn't belong to you. And God says that was the spiritual pressure caused by their thoughts and actions behind your back. You didn't imagine it. You weren't overthinking. You were spiritually sensing what your physical eyes could not see. And today God brings you clarity because clarity brings strength and strength brings protection. Archangel Michael says you need to know this was not an attack on your life but an attack on your destiny. Your blessings, your peace, your breakthroughs, your rising, it was your spiritual light they were threatened by, not your existence. They saw your progress, your resilience, your connection with God, your inner purity, and they misunderstood it. They thought your light made them small, when in truth, your light was meant to lift the whole family. Instead of choosing love, they chose comparison. Instead of choosing unity, they chose insecurity. And insecurity always produces harmful actions when it is not healed. God says He watched everything quietly with patience and compassion because He wanted to give them time to change, time to realize what they were doing, time to stop themselves. But they didn't stop. Their hearts remained closed. So now heaven steps in, not to punish them, but to protect you and to elevate you to the next season, one they cannot sabotage. God says the truth had to be revealed now because your next blessing is close and He cannot allow anyone with unclear intentions to be near it to influence it or to benefit from it in a way that harms you. Archangel Michael says he has been guarding you especially at night when your mind sleeps but your spirit remains awake. He says, there were moments your heart felt heavy for no reason. Moments when you felt waves of sadness or pressure. Moments you didn't understand why your mood shifted suddenly. That was Him absorbing, deflecting, and breaking spiritual energy sent toward you through intention, jealousy, or spoken words. Nothing touched you. Nothing harmed you. Nothing reached your soul. You were shielded every moment. God says you must not fear your sister or the family member involved. You must not hate them because hate will only poison your blessing. Instead, God says you will rise above this truth with grace, wisdom, and divine victory. He says you will walk into your next chapter clean-hearted. And that is why He needed to reveal the truth now, not to make you angry, but to make you aware. Once you know the truth, you guard your spirit differently. You trust differently. You invite differently. You move differently. God says the biggest mistake they made was believing you were alone. They didn't know heaven intervenes the moment your name is spoken with negativity. They didn't understand that your life is spiritually marked for protection. They didn't realize that anyone who tries to interfere with your destiny only ends up strengthening it. Everything they tried worked in reverse. Every negative intention pushed you closer to God. Every whispered word behind your back created more divine support for you. Every plan they made fell apart before it even began. Archangel Michael says, your spirit is entering a transformation period. He says, after this message, things around you will start shifting. Your emotions, your clarity, your dreams, your intuition, your relationships. You will start seeing signs from God more frequently. You will feel lighter because this truth clears the spiritual fog that has been around you. You will feel more empowered because you finally understand that God has been fighting battles for you long before you even knew a battle existed. God says He is proud of your heart. He says, despite everything, you did not turn bitter. You did not harm anyone. You did not gossip. You did not react with anger. You did not throw negativity back. You stayed gentle, patient, and kind. And God says this is why nothing formed against you could succeed, because purity always wins in His kingdom. Your light is stronger than their intentions. Your faith is louder than their doubts. Your destiny is greater than their plans. God says He is bringing justice, in a peaceful way. Not revenge, not suffering, but spiritual correction. He is shifting things so that truth comes out in its own divine timing. So that those who acted wrongly face the mirror of their own choices. You don't need to speak. You don't need to confront anyone. You don't need to expose anyone. God says He will handle that part. You will simply watch how everything becomes clear naturally. Archangel Michael says you are stepping into a season where you will no longer feel spiritually drained. The emotional heaviness will lift. The confusion will disappear. The inner sadness that came out of nowhere will stop. You will feel protected again because you are protected. Michael says you are spiritually guarded by divine authority, and nothing any human does can override that. God says the blessing coming to you next is big. So big that the enemy tried to interfere before it reached you. But their interference only accelerated your blessing instead of delaying it. God says He is about to reward your trust, your patience, your purity of heart, and your courage to walk your path alone when needed. He says, new doors are opening. Unexpected help is coming. The right people are approaching, and your spirit will feel supported in ways it hasn't felt in a long time. God says the truth may hurt, but it will heal you. It will free you. It will strengthen you, and it will prepare you. He says you will move forward with grace, with confidence, with clarity, and with divine protection surrounding every step you take. You are not alone. You are never alone. God is with you. Archangel Michael is with you. Heaven is fully aware of you, your life, your emotions, your struggles, your destiny. God says trust Him. Pray to Him. Walk with Him. Nothing will go wrong with you. You are safe, protected, and divinely guided. The truth has been revealed so your path can open. And your path is opening now beautifully, powerfully, and in ways that will surprise you. God says this message reaches you now because I willed it to reach you. Not a second earlier, not a second later. I have been watching your heart, your tears, the weight you carry silently, the thoughts you do not speak out loud, the moments where you wondered why certain people close to you acted strangely, why you felt a quiet disturbance in your spirit. Why something inside you said, not everyone around me is as innocent as they appear. I am revealing this to you because you asked for clarity without even realizing you were asking. Your spirit cried for answers, and I heard you. I saw the way you kept moving forward despite confusion, betrayal, exhaustion, and loneliness. You kept loving people who were not always honest with you. And today I send Archangel Michael with a message that must not be ignored. This is serious. This is urgent. This is not something I reveal lightly. Archangel Michael stands beside you even now, guiding your thoughts as you read this. And he says, do not close your eyes to this truth. I order you to receive this. This is very serious. There has been a plot around you. A plan designed in silence. Crafted behind your back, and carried by those you trusted the most. Your sister and a family member, someone connected to you by blood, someone who should have protected you, someone who should have stood by your side, became part of something that was never meant to touch your destiny. What they planned was meant to distract you, confuse you, weaken you, and push you into a place of doubt and emotional collapse. They wanted you to question yourself. They wanted you to lose faith in your blessings. They wanted to slow down what heaven has been preparing for you. They acted out of jealousy, insecurity, and fear of the light inside you. They did not realize that your steps are guarded. Your destiny is sealed, and your path is under divine surveillance. You must understand this clearly. They did not plot this because you did anything wrong. They plotted this because your spirit intimidates theirs. They sense the greatness coming toward you. They feel the shift even before you see it. They know there is something different about you, something chosen, something deeply protected. They know blessings follow you. They know that when you pray, things move. When you speak, things shift. When you set your heart on something, heaven aligns with you. They see things in you that you sometimes fail to see in yourself. Your kindness, your strength, your grace, your spiritual authority. It bothers them because they cannot control it. They cannot understand it. And instead of admiring you, instead of learning from you, instead of appreciating you, they turned against you. But God is here to tell you, nothing they plotted, nothing they attempted, nothing they whispered, nothing they tried to sabotage will succeed. Their plans are already collapsing. Their intentions are being exposed. Their words are returning to them. Their actions are being reversed. I am your God and I will not allow harm to reach you. I am stepping in at the exact moment.